Good afternoon. It's a brand new week. This is KTN Newsdesk on the 25th day of November 2013. My name is Bonny Tunya, and Edith is here with us from China. Let's check if she learned anything.
Oh my goodness.
So would you like to invite our viewers to the show in Chinese?
I knew you were going to set me up. It's a pleasure to be back. Before we get to the Chinese, let's get to what we prepared for you this afternoon.
Police vetting. 80,000 officers face vetting in an effort to purge the police service. And in Nakuru, drunk husband stabs wife to death. In business, Britain buys real insurance shares, investing just about 99% of shareholding from real insurance company. Welcome to the program. We'll start with matters in the police service and the vetting of over 80,000 officers, should I say senior officers, is currently ongoing at the Kenyatta International Conference Center, that is the KICC. And Richard Tina is there to bring us to speed with exactly what is happening in an effort to purge the police service out of the wrong impression that people have been having. And so here is Richard Tina with the very latest from the KICC.
Well, a very good evening to you, Bonny. In fact, we are coming to you live from the Kenyatta International Convention Center, where in the last 1 hour or so, the vetting exercise for police officers was launched here. It was an exercise that was attended by, among others, the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and Coordination of National Government, Joseph Olenku, the Principal Secretary in that ministry, the Inspector General of Police, officials from the Police Service Commission, as well as other senior police officers. And this launch exercise will basically pave the way for the start of the vetting exercise. Remember, this is an exercise that ought to have started months ago, but faced opposition from some police officers who perhaps fear that they may lose their jobs after the vetting exercise. It is an exercise that is aimed at assessing the competencies, the integrity and suitability of police officers to serve in the police force. The police force has been facing an image crisis, and analysts say that perhaps this vetting exercise will sort of pave the way for the police force to rebrand itself. Basically, the launch exercise was just that. The vetting does not kick off immediately. What will happen is that beginning this afternoon and in the coming few days, police officers will be collecting forms which they will be required to fill with information that is needed by the vetting panel. They should return those forms by the 7th of December. And the vetting exercise should then kick off on the 17th of December. And one message that reverberated through all the speeches that were made this morning was one of an assurance to police officers that the vetting exercise will be fair and transparent. Johnston Kavuludi, the chairman of the Police Service Commission, making an assurance that the vetting panel will be able to distinguish between vendetta and fact. Members of the public have been requested to give any information that will assist the vetting panel in its exercise. The vetting panel will also be depending on other agencies such as the NSIS, the Independent Police Oversight Authority, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, to give it information regarding the officers who will be vetted. And just let's listen in on what Johnson Kavuludi and the Minister for Interior and Coordination of National Government had to say during the launch of the vetting exercise. Take a listen.
The names of the police officers to be vetted, Cabinet Secretary, have already been published in the print media, and the Commission has requested the public to provide any information that may be useful in the vetting process. Ladies and gentlemen, in the event that some of the members of the service are found not to be suitable and competent to be retained in the service, the Commission has already made proposals to the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and Coordination of National Government for their honorable exit from the service.
The exercise is provided for in the National Police Service Act as a mechanism for transiting to the National Police Service from the former Kenya Police Force and Administration Police Force. I wish to encourage all officers to take the exercise positively and to appreciate the Inspector General, his two deputies, and the Director of Criminal Investigations were subjected to the same process. Ladies and gentlemen, I am reliably informed that the first batch of officers to be vetted this month include 31 senior-most officers in the ranks of Deputy Commissioner and Senior Deputy Commissioner of Police. I want to say that this is the way, and it should be, because all these levels, the police carry great responsibility regarding the manner in which policing services are delivered to the people of Kenya.
Indeed, 31 senior police officers, including DCP, that is Deputy Commissioner of Police, Deputy Commissioner of Police in the rank of DCP2 and DCP1, will be among the first to be vetted. In their speeches, Kavuludi, they are talking about an honorable exit. They did not elaborate exactly what that will involve, but the Minister for Interior and Coordination of National Government, Joseph Olelenku, saying that he will present a paper before the cabinet to get funds that will be used then to give a send-off package to those who will not meet the standards when they are vetted. There is also the provision of reviewing the decisions. If a police officer perhaps is not satisfied by the outcome of the vetting exercise, they said that they can have their decisions reviewed. But the message that ran through is that there will be a send-off package for those who will not be able to meet the integrity, the competency and suitability standards of the vetting. Bonny and Edith.
All right, Richard Tina, many thanks for clarifying that matter of the police vetting. And we do know that senior police officers are the ones undergoing the vetting. And of course, the IG, his deputies, and the director of the CAD have already gone through a similar process. We also know that there is an elaborate process of safe landing for those who will not be suitable enough to be retained in the force. And we also know that those who feel dissatisfied by the decision can indeed have a review of that particular matter. Edith?
All right, we're still sticking to the police, but on a different note, and this is in Murang'a County, that's specifically in Kenol Town, where residents of that area were treated to what was really a rare sight after regular police and administration police in the county held a 3-day Christian crusade. Now, the crusade, which kicked off on Thursday, attracted a crowd of both curious onlookers and congregants. The security men and women used the platform to urge residents of the area to maintain law and order in the area. The message from the policemen also included warnings of immoral acts that often lead to jail terms. Organizers of the event say they have plans to make it an annual ceremony to encourage community policing and also ensure the police in the county are more accessible.
Jesus was there. Yes, after he was killed, a good Samaritan.
Salvation Army it is. Right, and potential investors in Nzoia County decry the state of insecurity in the county. They cite the lack of streetlights in Kitale Town, saying it limits their business operating hours. Now, most businessmen in the town operate and close the businesses by 6 p.m. for fear of attacks. Kitale Town has recently attracted new enterprises, and its first ever mega city mall is currently under construction. The mall will host a variety of business enterprises, including a 5-star hotel, the first ever in the region, set to open doors in December.
We now want to shift gears to something completely different, and this is a story of a 38-year-old man in Engashura village, Nakuru County, who is alleged to have stabbed his wife to death under unclear circumstances. Julius Karaoke is said to have arrived at his home drunk at around 2 a.m. last evening, where he is alleged to have attacked and stabbed his wife 3 times in the chest using a knife. Samson Mogo, brother to the suspect, says the mother of 2 called for help but succumbed to the injuries. Villagers, however, blame the beastly act on the increase of illicit brew in the area, saying cases of deaths associated with brew are currently on the rise. The angry villagers burnt the suspect's belongings before storming one of the neighboring houses suspected to be an illicit brew den, where they poured and destroyed jerry cans of changa. The villagers now want the area chief to be evicted for failing to deal with the illicit brew menace.
Tulikuwa tumesimama hapo tu. Hiyo kijana tena akatokea na panga. Sasa watu hawakuwa wanajua atatokea. Akatokea anapanga na akaanza kutukibisa na mapanga. Si hata akina mama wengine walianguka wameumia. Sasa mimi nilianza kulia tu nikisema watoto wetu atakwisha sababu ya hii pombe.
Lakini polisi they have failed completely. Tunauliza hata administration they have failed. Nimehesabu kwa mwaka moja hapa nimeona kama watoto 40 wamekufa kwa sababu ya pombe. Na inajulikana ni kama bomba 2-3 ambayo inapiga pombe. Na tunataka kuchukua jukumu kama basi polisi hawatachukua jukumu. Na administration basi ile kitu tutafanya tutachukua jukumu sisi wenyewe na itaongoza raia wangu wa constituency na tutachukua hatua ya kwenda nyumba kwa nyumba pahali hiyo pombe inapikwa. Kama ni kuhama mtu atahama ahame, lakini hawezi kufanya watoto wetu wakufe.
What irony is that? I mean, the local leader is donning a Capricorn viceroy and speaking out against alcohol.
Well, I don't think he's speaking out against alcohol in general. He's talking about illicit brew and obviously what it does to such a small community.
Nice choice of couple.
Nice choice of... Okay, let's get to other counties where farmers across the country have been urged to adopt value addition in order to boost the quality of their products.
Now, this is according to the Industrialization and Enterprise Development Principal Secretary Dr. Wilson Songa, was speaking at a book launch on value chains for agriculture by the Kenya National Farmers Federation. Farmers Association called on the government to increase support to the sector.
County governments were also asked to prioritize value addition for farm produce.
This will be of a lot of benefit to policymakers. This will be a lot of benefit to the academia as they prepare their papers on these topics. But let us now, the rest of us, the smaller Dr. Mutongas, and the entrepreneurs, let us take it further. Let us take what the framework has given us, the policy guidelines he has given, and put now the actual enterprises on the ground. To process bananas, to process potatoes, to process milk, to process chicken, and everything else. Then we can start talking about industrialization.
All right, let's now bring you up to speed on what is emerging to be a controversy surrounding the marking of this year's examination, which happens to continue after a teachers' union in Laikipia County advised its 200 members to withdraw from the exercise.
Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers asked its members not to report to their respective stations as from December the 2nd. Executive Secretary Ndongo Wangede said that they will only attend the marking exercise if their payments will be reviewed upwards.
Of course, we will be looking at this story in a lot more detail in our subsequent bulletins, so do stay tuned for that.
Right, let's move to business. And British American investment company has announced plans to buy Real Insurance Company through a cautionary note to its shareholders via the Capital Markets Authority. Britam intimated it will acquire a 99% shareholding at Real Insurance. Britam's acquisition of Real Insurance, which has a presence in 4 African markets, will enable Britam implement the expansion of its insurance business strategy, coupled with a move to diversify its products across the new geographical areas. And internationally, get moving, that's what doctors will tell you, but getting up and standing instead of sitting can do more than help you stay fit or lose weight. Here's more.
Although we're always on the go, a lot of times we don't go anywhere. Many jobs require sitting at our desks, which causes many of us to be sedentary 55% of our day, and that's not good.
Most of our back pain in this country is in our lower back, around lumbar 4, lumbar 5, and S1. And that's where most of the pressure goes when we sit in a chair.
Doctors are also finding that standing can decrease your chances of developing some cancers, diabetes, even obesity.
When we're standing, our muscles are firing. And when we do that, our insulin works 40% better.
Scientists believe that a lipoprotein that converts bad cholesterol into good diminishes by 95% when you sit too long. They say that factor alone can increase the risk of heart disease by 30%.
You might live a couple years of a shorter lifespan from if you sit too much versus the people that sit too little.
So how can you stand more if you work all day at a desk? In an office setting, organize a standing meeting. Use a timer on your computer that can let you know when to get up and move. Make it a practice every time the phone rings to stand up and answer it. And take a 5-minute walk every hour in the office.
If you went from an 8-hour-a-day job of sitting to a 5-hour-a-day job of sitting, just 3 hours difference, you can burn off probably £1 pound a month.
For today's Health Minute, I'm Susan Hendricks.
KTN Newsdesk.
Not before we have a Chinese class. So you didn't welcome our guests. I mean, just tell our viewers goodbye in Chinese.
I have no idea how to do that. I can say hello, ni hao. Everyone knows how to do that.
Right.
And I think thank you was xie xia. My pronunciation is obviously terrible.
All right. So let me help you. I did some bit of Chinese. It's called, when you say goodbye, you say zhenxia. But the Z takes the ST pronunciation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tunya, for this class. To our Did You Know fact, did you know there is a slum-like African resort? So it's a resort which basically looks like an African slum, designed to give rich people a taste of hard life. And this is in South Africa. So a lot of people are, you know, the resort has received a lot of flack because of
so insulting.
Some people say it's insulting, others say it's insensitive, and then you have to spend at least $80 to get to the resort, and people are saying that's what a normal person in a shantytown in South Africa would earn in a month.
So the idea is to spread that experience.
I don't know. I just think it's very insensitive.
Yeah, right.
All right. Well, this is where we wind up our edition of KTN Newsdesk. We hope you started the week well, and if not, kesho pia ni siku, you get another chance. My name is Edith Kimani. Good afternoon.
My name is Bonny Tunya. Good afternoon.